So this past January, after having 5.5 years of excruciating back pain, the doctor had told me that I had a pretty simple diagnosis. He said, go ahead, have an MRI done, and we'll go ahead and start treatment from there, and you'll have relief by the end of the summer. So I was really excited. I scheduled my MRI, thought everything was going to be great. And the next day, I went to the doctor's office, and he told me, he said, well, everything's different. And that's when I received my full diagnosis, and he told me that I had fibromyalgia, I had sciatica, I had polycystic kidney disease, I had spinal disc degenerations disease, and I had kidney cancer. So as I'm receiving all this news, kidney cancer was the only thing that really stuck out to me because I've already had melanoma, skin cancer. I had that about 4 years ago, and then I had cervical cancer as well. So initially, that was the first thing that I thought, oh no, I know what happens when you have cancer. I know the treatments that come. So I was extremely nervous. I left and I went out to the car and I just began praying and just pleading with God. And I just was so scared. I didn't know what to do. I just prayed and prayed and prayed. And I thought, you know what, God, I just need you to just come in. This is so much bigger than me. This is so much bigger than anything that I had anticipated when I woke up this morning. And I just began to pray and just say, okay, I'm going to give this to God. I'm going to let him come in. I'm just going to rely fully on him because I knew that I couldn't rely on myself at this point. So I went home. I made the decision that I didn't want to tell a whole lot of people. I didn't want to tell a lot of my friends and a lot of my family, not because I didn't think that they couldn't support me through it, but because I had to get firmly planted in my faith with it. I had to begin to really grasp everything that had just been told. I needed to understand pretty much just everything and try to come to terms with everything. And I didn't want all the sad stories. I didn't want the negativity. I didn't want to hear all of that. I didn't want to believe it all. So I began praying every single day. I prayed and prayed and prayed. I had 3 medications that I was supposed to take. They made me extremely sick, so I quit taking the medications and just became fully dedicated to, I needed God to heal me supernaturally. And that was the only thing that I could accept at that time because it's the only thing that I knew I could rely on. I couldn't rely on these medications. They didn't make me feel good. I couldn't rely on what the doctors were telling me because I didn't want to accept those diagnoses and the outcomes from that. So I began to tell people at the church. I told a very small amount of people and was provided with some really great resources and some readings on how the power in my words can really change the outcome and just some really great scriptures to go along with the healing. So every day I prayed these things diligently. I'd pray them, I read them every day, I'd claim them over my life every day. And back in August, on the 31st was my second MRI. And I woke up that morning and I was like, you know what? I'm healed. I'm just gonna go in here, I'm gonna get this MRI, it's done, it's gone. I'm good. And went and had the MRI done. The next day, the doctor called me and he says, well, I have some bad news for you. He says, not only is the cancer still there, he said, but it's growing, it's active. He said, we need to begin doing treatment. So when I left out of there, I was extremely deflated. I didn't know what else I could do. I felt like I had prayed every prayer that was possible. I felt like I had given everything that I could to God. I felt like I did all the things. I ate healthy. I tried everything possible, I thought, over those 7 months. When I got to church the next Sunday, Hillary comes up to me and she says to me, I have something to tell you. She said, God's really laid this on my heart that I have to tell it to you. She said, it's kind of bold. She's like, but I need you to know this and God needs you to know this. And I thought, okay. And she says to me, Karen, you're not going to be healed on everybody else's faith. She was like, it has to be your faith. And that was kind of that turning moment for me because I knew then that there was a lot of doubt in myself through every single one of the prayers that I'd prayed over the past 7 months. That I would pray it, but then I would start to second guess it. Or I would pray it, and then I would be complaining nonstop to my husband or my family about the pain or the sickness. And I wasn't wholeheartedly giving everything to God. And I began to see that. I began to see that there was a lot of stress in my life, that I continued to add on my plate. I began to see that there were things that should have been cut out years ago that I was continuing to deal with on top of now all of this new stuff. And so I really took the time to just talk to God and just say, okay, what is it? What do I need to give up? What do I need to let go of? And I had to cut some people out of my life. I had to cut some things that I just signed up for to do out of my life to just, really take care of me and to really do those things that were important and not just things that were just time consuming. I really began to surrender everything to God, even when it was tough. I just gave everything and learned how to just praise instead of constantly pray. Like I had believed that I could sit and I could pray all day long. And I learned that at some point you have to stop pleading and begging, and you just have to start praising and believing that it's coming. And Monday night at prayer, that next Monday night, the song Healing is Here came on. And that song lived at our house 24/7. It was on all day long. I'd sing that song all day. I had it in the car, at work, at home. It just was nonstop. And I just continued every single day to sing it out, to praise Him, to just claim it over my life, that I was going to receive that healing no matter what. It was mine, and I was going to claim it. It was Wednesday, the 14th. I'll never forget that day. I'm laying in bed with Echo, and we're singing our little song, and I'm putting her to bed, and I'm just continuing to just claim it over my life. And I just started laughing, and she's kind of looking at me like I'm a little crazy, because at this point I am downright just laughing. And I told her, I said, Echo, like Mommy is healed, like I'm healed. And she's like, okay. I said, no, I don't think you understand. Like, I know I am. Like, I could feel it. It was something that just washed over me, that there was just this relief. I could literally feel His presence in the room. I could literally feel the actual healing that I thought I had back in August and clearly did not. And I was really excited, and I thought, okay. So I continued just praising, and I continued just being really excited. And Thursday came, and Friday was my third MRI that would now be my treatment MRI, that they had told me, this will be where we tell you your next steps. This will be what kind of treatment that you're under or what kind of surgery you'll have. And I got there to the MRI. They gave me all kinds of IVs and contrast and everything, and it was kind of scary. And I just remember just continuing to pray through it and just continue to say, you know what, I've already received my healing. I'm singing through it, the whole thing, and I'm just completely ignoring everything that the doctor is telling me, because at this point, I just knew that I was going to be okay. Like, I just knew. And she told me, she said, well, the news isn't going to be very good. We want to let you know that the treatments are going to be really hard, that, it's not something that you're going to want me to call you, because I had told her to call me and just give me the news. And she said, you're not going to want to hear this over the phone. You're probably going to want to come in. And I told her, I said, well, no, I'm saving my $20 copay. You can just call me. And she said, okay, I'll call you next week, but I just want to forewarn you to prepare yourself over the weekend that it's going to be really bad and it's going to be really hard. So I got home that day, and I was just maybe 2 hours after I left the doctor's office. And she calls me up and she says, Karen, you're never going to believe this. She said, everything is completely benign. She said, you're good. She said, the doctor is signing off on this, that you don't need any treatments, you don't need any surgeries. She said, any medication that you're on, you can cancel your medications. She said, we're 99.9% sure that everything's good, that there's nothing out there, there's nothing that needs treatment. And I made her repeat it like 7 times, and I was so excited. I was just crying and just praising God, because I was like, it was so much over the course of the 8 months that I just learned about myself, and I learned about my faith, and I just gave Him just all the glory through it all, because I was so excited to finally hear those words that everything was good, that it wasn't going to be any treatments, there wasn't going to be any surgeries. So there was 2 things that I learned through this process. I learned to surrender my words and my thoughts to the Lord, just in tune that I would with my heart, because the things that were going on in my heart and the things that I was praying and the things that I was begging for and praising for, my thought life didn't match that. So I learned to just give everything to him. And then in turn, I learned that as I give him my best and I give him my all, I get back his best and I get back his all. And I get his supernatural healings and everything. And it was just so amazing.